With that, let's get up to a winter wonderland at New Era Field in Orchard Park. On the call, we bring in our bundled-up duo of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
You get a peek at New Era Field in Orchard Park. A few moments ago, to the delight of this Buffalo crowd, it was the Bills racing out of the tunnel as they get set to match up with the New York Jets. Hello, everybody. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And, Charles, you take a look at the Bills entering play here. And losers their last time out, so they'll look to make amends here.
And one of the best ways you can do that is to be at home, and they are. They're going to try and ride that home crowd and that wave of emotion to a victory in this one.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Jets, they come in feeling good after back-to-back victories.
And there you see the standings, both of these teams out of it as far as any chance of making the playoffs. Dolphins have won the division, and the other three teams are not going anywhere. The Bills, even if they win this game, will finish in last place. But sometimes seasons go that way, so not much to play for either of these teams, but it's still a division rivalry. The Bills would much rather win this season, beating their rival, the Jets, rather than losing it yet another game. The Jets, of course, could get back to 500. Maybe that means something to some people. But we will see how it goes. The Jets, 7-8, a little bit unfortunate. They had injury problems to the quarterback position, but Namath is back. He's been back for the last couple of weeks. See, on the year, 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He's at 1,750 yards. So there's a chance Namath can hit the 2,000-yard mark today for the season. But again, 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, not horrible for 1971. But the fact that he was not healthy the whole season certainly did play a factor in the Jets' season. There's a handoff to Riggins, and he has been good for the rookie, especially the second half of the year. Just kind of taking over as the main running back for the Jets. Having a pretty good rookie campaign, and that's a bright spot for the Jets' future as we move further into the 70s here. So this is Week 17, last game for these two teams. The next thing they will be involved in is the draft, which I haven't decided if I'll actually broadcast the whole draft. That might be pretty long. Might be sort of a thing. We'll see how long it's taking. Probably go ahead and broadcast the first round, though. And then we'll see if we can do the whole thing or not. Rasmus Schmidt, Herman Hill. You got Castor and Bell are the receivers. Lamb is the tight end. Riggins and Boozer shown there as the running backs. Matt Snell is still on the team. The third back, I guess, or number one fullback. Joe Namath fires downfield and completes a 17-yard pass right off the bat to his receiver, Eddie Bell. See if we want to take a look at some replay. No, we don't. So we got some late motion here, and too late. It's going to cost the Jets 5 yards. Delay a game on Namath and the Jets.
Still first down.
So 1st and 15 now.
Here we go. The 60 outlaw.
So we are closing the regular season of 1971 for Sack to the Future. So good reflection. You got Chandler in the middle, Guidry and Stratton are the outside linebackers. Pitts and Richardson the safeties, Alvin Wyatt and Robert James are the corners. So first looking at the Jets in real life, 71. Remember, there were 26 real teams, so here we have 32 because of the 6 semi-pro teams, but 26 back in real life. The Jets were 6-8 here in this Sack to the Future season. They're 7-8, so right there where they're supposed to be. 23rd in scoring offense and 19th in defense. So nothing impressive there in real life. You see Joe Namath, of course. Actually, Joe Namath played more here in Sack the Future than he did in real life. Of course, real life 71. A bad season for Namath's health. Only started 3 games. Played 4 games total. Threw for just over 500 yards. Had 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So here in Sack the Future, he's played more, so he has 6 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Still around the same rate, just more passes. He only threw 59 pass attempts because, again, he only started 3 games in 71 real life. The man that started the most game was Bob Davis, who started 7 games and went 3-4. Namath was 2-1 in his starts. So this Sack of the Future, a lot like the real life 71 Jets. They're just under 500, and it's partially due to Namath not being able to play the whole year. And there you see Evers and Boozer bouncing off tacklers and getting into the end zone for the touchdown. Boozer, of course, having a decent year. Not sure what touchdown that is reception-wise. He did lead the team in touchdowns in real life 71. Well, he was tied with Rich Castor with 6, but 5 rushing and 1 receiving. John Riggins, who's been taken over as the main back here lately in real life, he did have 769 yards as a rookie in 14 games played. Not sure if they will show us where he's at season-wise, but the Jets take the 7-0 lead. And then we have a nice return by the Buffalo Bills all the way across the 40-yard line. So let's take a look at some Buffalo Bills. Dennis Shaw. 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 2,400 yards, and he's better than 60%. Buffalo Bills, of course, in real life 1-13. This here in Sack the Future 5-9-1, so certainly better than 1-13. They were dead last in both points scored and points allowed, so couldn't get any worse than the real life 71 Bills. So the Sack of the Future is a step up from real life for Bills fans. Shaw was the quarterback in real life. Started 12 of the 14 games. 11 touchdowns to 26 interceptions. So again, Dennis Shaw, much better in Sack of the Future than he was in real life, and that has allowed the Bills to be much better in Sack of the Future than they were in real life. But much better than real life still only puts them at 5-9-1 in last place. Here's the Bills' offensive line. Young, O'Donnell, Jarvis, Carr, and Green. Patrick and O.J. Simpson are the backs. Briscoe and Moses having a good year. He's in the top 10 in receiving stats. Moses definitely a breakout year here for Sack of the Future in real life. Moses only had 23 catches for 470 yards, but here in Sack of the Future, he has more than doubled both of those stats, I believe. The Bills will have to punt, so the Jets open with a touchdown. The Bills answer with a punt. So looking ahead to next year, of course, Sack of the Future keeps the rosters the same. So even though we will air the draft, it is, Sack of the Future draft just to basically relive what happened in real life. Although the order won't be exactly the same because the Bills certainly aren't finishing at 1-13 and won't have the number 1 draft pick, but we'll still draft, who they did in real life. So looking ahead a little bit, the Buffalo Bills, real life 1972. Instead of 26th in both offense and defense, they improved to 19th in offense and 24th in defense. So the defense is still right near the bottom of the league, but their offense gets a little bit better under Coach Lou Saban, and they go 4-9-1, which is a lot closer to what they're doing here in Sack of the Future. So we'll have to see if Sack to the Future can outplay their team as much as they outplayed their real-life counterparts next year. You know, you could see an 8-win team out of Buffalo and Sack to the Future. However, they could have just gotten lucky. You could always play worse than your real-life counterpart. So 5-9-1 this year, 5-9-1, probably what you can kind of expect next year. I think this year they won a couple of games that they shouldn't have. Can't count on that every year. There you see the standings. The Oilers have clinched the 1 seed. The Chiefs are the 2 seed. It looks like the Dolphins are the 3 seed, but not necessarily. I'm not sure who wins that tiebreaker with the Browns. The big matchup there is the Browns are playing the Bengals. Right now, the Browns are the 4 seed. The Bengals are the 6 seed. If the Bengals win, that switches. If the Browns win, they might go up to the 3 seed, and the Bengals may fall out of the playoffs. If the Browns beat the Bengals and then the Broncos win their game against the Raiders, then the Broncos will get into the playoffs. So things still to be decided here in the AFC. The Oilers-Chiefs, that was an interesting situation because the Chiefs lost 2 games in a row. The Chiefs beat the Oilers in the regular season, so they had a game up on them. I think they were 11-1, and the Oilers were 10-2. Plus, they had the head-to-head. Then the Chiefs lost, and that got them to the same record that the Chiefs still had the tiebreaker. Then the Chiefs lost last week against the Bears. That was televised, of course, because it was against the Bears. They inexplicably lost to the Chicago Bears, who are a bad team, and basically gave the 1 seed away, gave it to the Oilers. With 1 week to go, the Oilers improved to 13-2. Chiefs dropped to 12-3. Here's the Jets defense: Philbin, Elliott, Hinton, and Lomas. Got Atkinson in the middle, Ralph Baker, and Larry Grantham, the outside backers. Wise, Hicks are the safeties. Dockery and Thomas are the linebackers. But going back to that Chiefs-Oilers situation. So the Oilers were given the number 1 seed because the Chiefs lost to the Bears. They go up to 13-2. Chiefs down to 12-3. Then, in the early window of games, the Oilers were playing the Texans, a semi-pro team that had lost 15 in a row. And inexplicably, I don't even know how to understand it, but the Oilers, just trying to clinch the number 1 seed, lost to the Texans who had not won a game until week 17. And so basically the Oilers took the number 1 seed gift that the Chiefs gave to them and threw it away by losing to a semi-pro team. And finishing the year 13-3. However, the Chiefs have to play the Chargers, and they have to make sure they win that game. If the Chiefs win that game, they get it back. But it's just remarkable how the Chiefs basically had it sewn up, lost 2 in a row, 1 to the Chicago Bears, gave it away to the Oilers. Then all the Oilers had to do was beat the semi-pro team, Houston Texans, to slam the door, and they did not do that. They lost, and the door is open again for the Chiefs. Very interesting things. Namath drops back to pass. He fires, completes. And that's his man, Eddie Bell again. Namath having a pretty good game. Start to the game, at least. So, the Jets, real life. Let's see how... Whoops. See what the Jets fans can look forward to. The Jets in 72, they improve also. So they improved to 7-7. So in real life 71, they were 6-8. Here in Sack to Future, they're 7-8. In real life 72, they go up to 7-7. But their offense really takes a jump. Of course, the main reason for that is Namath actually stays healthy in 72, plays 13 of the 14 games, much better than the 3 he played in 71. So again, Sack to the Future doesn't always follow real life as far as injuries go. So we will see. But if Namath can stay healthy, if he would have stayed healthy in this year, I think the Jets would be more like a 9-win team instead of 7. So at least a 2-win difference probably. So if he can stay healthy next year, in real life, the Jets vaulted all the way up to the number 2 scoring offense in the whole league out of 26 teams. So their offense is definitely going to be potent in theory next year in Sack of the Future. A lot of that has to do with Namath's health, though. You see Namath 9 of 12. Incomplete on that pass, but much better than when Davis or Woodall's back there throwing the ball in no particular direction. There, that pass was fine, but dropped, so it's not going to help. Another thing about Real Life 72 that's not going to affect Sack to the Future at all, because Sack to the Future has to play by the Madden divisions, but 72 is where sorry, I'm not sure where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought, but regardless, 72, much like 71, will not have the Colts in this division because, of course, it's Madden. So the Colts and Oilers get to be in their own division with a couple semi-pro teams. So that kind of inflates their record. As you saw here in 71, that basically could have given the Oilers the number 1 seed. They beat a lot of semi-pro teams to inflate their record, and the Chiefs gave them a chance, but then they lost to one of those semi-pro teams to finish 13-3 rather than 14-2. And that gives the Chiefs a chance to get the number 1 seed back from them. But 13-3, you figure they went, I think they had 7 or 8 semi-pro games, so they went either 6-1 or 7-1 in semi-pro games, which definitely helps inflate your record.
Got it. 19, my 19. Switch up, switch up.
So nobody from the Bills threatening to win any awards or anything. So nothing to talk about as far as that's concerned.
Come on, set. 10 logo.
So the other games, as far as the Fantastic Four of Sack to the Future, they're not showing scores at the bottom for whatever reason. So you're not seeing this, but the Eagles are playing the Giants. So the Giants are involved in that game. The only news there really is the Giants could climb out of last place with a win. They could actually throw the Eagles into last and get out of last themselves. So that's something, I guess. You got the Redskins and Cowboys. That's a big game in the fact that both those teams are guaranteed to go to the playoffs. Cowboys have already locked up the number 1 seed. The Redskins could either be the 5 or the 6. If they win or tie, they're definitely the 5 seed. If they lose, they will finish with the same record as the San Francisco 49ers and possibly the LA Rams. So we don't know. Depending on if it's a 2-way tie or a 3-way tie, they may win the tiebreaker or lose the tiebreaker and be either the 5 or 6 seed. But if they just win or tie the Cowboys, they can lock up the 5 seed. Cowboys are already the number 1 seed, but it's still a big game as far as it's the best talent-filled game. Fantastic Four, if you will. The Bears are playing the Vikings. Vikings are a playoff team. Bears are not. So I guess that's just trying to ruin the seeding for the Vikings. The Vikings still have a chance to get a bye, I believe. So the Bears, much like they ruined the Chiefs last week, chance at the number 1 overall seed, they can try to ruin the Vikings' chance to get the number 2 overall seed.
Let's go, get set. Definitely belong.
And then, of course, this one, Bills and Jets. So, again, 3 of those 4 teams not make the playoffs. The Cowboys are making it, and they'll make it as the number 1 seed. But then the 5th game that unless something goes wrong, I definitely plan to broadcast the Cincinnati Bengals and Cleveland Browns, because that is win and you're in. O.J. Simpson suffers like his 3rd injury of the season. Got to hope O.J. Simpson stays healthy next year if the Bills are going to improve. There's a throw. Oh, that's a nice catch by Briscoe. Very good catch. Short of the first down, but a nice catch anyway. 2nd catch of the day. Bills will have to punt again. But yes, the Bengals-Browns winner wins the division. If it's the Browns, they could go as high as the 3 seed. If it's the Bengals, they're definitely locked in as the 4 seed. But the loser could be out. If the Browns win, they win the division, and the Bengals have to hope that the Broncos lose to get into the playoff. If the Bengals win, they win the division. The Browns have to hope that the Broncos either lose or tie to make sure they get in. So the winner wins the division. The loser has at least a 50% chance of not making the playoffs. Now, that game probably would be the last one broadcast. If it's not last, then the Bears one will be the last one. It just depends because, behind the scenes stuff, the Bears are the quote-unquote commissioner team. So I may have to do them last just to make sure that the draft is ready to go when we get to the offseason and everything. But if that's not the case, then the last one probably will be the Bengals and Browns, so we'll know who won all the other games, and we'll know if the loser of that game is eliminated, or if the Broncos have lost, then we'll know that the loser will still get in just as a worse seed. So that was a fumble, but apparently they're calling that a fumble, as I guess he threw it behind the line. But not a big deal. It went out of bounds.
Ready.
I can't believe they let you play. I can't believe they even let you play.
So something's going on with my headset here. So let me be right back. Okay, so I believe I've straightened out my headset predicament. Obviously, I didn't miss any action because, well, these guys are playing like teams that aren't going anywhere. 7-3 still. So real life 71 once again. Going over the playoff teams. Of course, in real life there was only 4 on each side. So your 4 playoff teams on the AFC were the Miami Dolphins, who have won this division and sacked to the future. The Baltimore Colts, who were the wild card in the AFC East in real life, but they are going to be the wild card from the AFC South here in sack to the future. The Cleveland Browns, who won the Central in real life and are going to play for a chance to win here in Week 17 against the Bengals. And the Kansas City Chiefs, who won the West in real life. So the Chiefs won the West in real life. They won it here in sack to the future. Dolphins won the East in real life. They won it here in sack to the future. The Colts made it as a wild card in real life. They made it as a wild card here in sack to the future. The Browns, the other team that won the division in real life, and they are playing the Bengals. A win or a tie in that game will win the division. So very accurately done. Sack to the future as far as playoff teams. Now, sack to the future, of course, it's Madden, so there's 6 teams making the playoffs. So the 2 joining, well, first, we don't know for sure if the Browns are in, but let's say the Browns are in. Then right now, the way it is, the Browns are in, and the other 2 joining them will be the Oilers, who in real life only went 4-9-1, and the Bengals, who in real life went 4-10. If not the Bengals, then it could be the Broncos, who in real life are 4-9-1. So the 4 teams that made the playoffs are good, but the teams that are going to join them are all teams that were not good in real life. If you look at real life 71, though, the 4 teams that made the playoffs were 4 of the only 5 teams that were over 500. So the AFC did not have a bunch of great teams in 71. They had the Dolphins, Colts, Browns, and Chiefs, who all made the playoffs. The only other team that was over 500 in real life, the Oakland Raiders, who were 8-4-2. The Raiders are struggling here in sack of the future. I believe they're 5-10 or possibly 6-9, but certainly under 500. So the Raiders, the only team that you can consider a good team that did not make the playoffs in real life. Here, well, I guess it's the, let's see, the Jets are 7-8. Best they can do is 8-8, so that's wouldn't be considered good. The South, Oilers and Colts are in. The other 2 are semi-pro teams, so they're not good. Steelers finished under. The Ravens are semi-pro. Browns and Bengals will play for the division. Raiders are not good. Chargers only finished 8-8, I think. So yeah, much like real life 71. There's only going to be 1 team with a winning record that does not make the playoffs here from the AFC and sack to the future as well. And that will be the team that does not make it out of the Bengals and the Broncos will be the one quote-unquote good team or better than 500 team that misses the playoffs. How does the NFC look in real life? Here were your playoff teams in real life. Cowboys won the East, and the Redskins were the wild card. That's exactly what's happening here in Sack to the Future. Cowboys have already clinched that division, and the Washington Redskins have already clinched a wild card. And the Central, back in 71, the NFC Central was won by the Minnesota Vikings. Here in Sack to the Future, the NFC North is won by the Minnesota Vikings, and no other teams made the playoffs. In the West, the NFC was won by the San Francisco 49ers. And the only other, or the best team that did not make the playoffs was the Los Angeles Rams at 8-5-1. So here in Sack to the Future, the 49ers are 10-6 and the Rams are 10-5. If the Rams win, I think they're both in the playoffs, though. So either way, they're both in. So the 49ers are in. So again, all 8 NFL teams that made the playoffs in 1971, 7 of them are guaranteed in. And then the other one, the Cleveland Browns, a win or a tie, or a Broncos loss or tie. So if the Broncos lose, the Broncos tie, the Browns win, or the Browns tie, any of those things happen, the Browns will make it, which means Sack the Future will be 8 for 8 as far as getting real-life playoff teams into the playoffs. And then where they differ, Sack to the Future is going to add the Oilers and either the Bengals or Broncos, just because more playoff slots are open. They're also going to allow the LA Rams, who in real life are 8-5-1, so a very solid team anyways. And then somebody's got to win the South. The best team, the only 2 teams in the South that exist in real life 71 were the Falcons and the Saints. In real life, the Saints were 4-8-2, and the Falcons were 7-6-1. So that means the Falcons were the better team in real life. And here in Sack to the Future, they are the better team. They are the ones that won that division. So the Falcons will be the last team in the playoffs. So a very accurate. In the NFC, all 6 teams that are going to make the playoffs were the 6 best teams in real life. And in the AFC, all 4 teams that made the playoffs in real life are going to make the playoffs in Sack to the Future, with the possible exception of the Cleveland Browns. But they are going to add 2 subpar teams into the playoffs. So possibly going to have our most historical Sack to the Future season yet. Will that mean that the historical 71 champions, the Dallas Cowboys, will meet the AFC champion from 71, the Dolphins? It's possible. We've never been this accurate in Sack to the Future as we have been here in 71. So maybe we will see the Dolphins Cowboys. The Cowboys seem inevitable to go there. They're just so good. The Dolphins have had some problems here and there. They won the division, sure, but to get past the Oilers and Chiefs and even the Browns, and they lost to the Bengals in the regular season. So the Dolphins are definitely a wishful thinking if you want to see that happen in Sack to the Future. But the Cowboys, I think, are going to make it. And if the Cowboys make it, I think they're probably going to win it. This might be the year the real-life champion wins the Sack to the Future championship. There's some highlights going back to Briscoe and showing how good he has been this game. Shaw's going to run for it. He gets to the 25 and then slides, and the Bills call a timeout. So it's Bills have a minute and 1 timeout to try to get some more points before the half here. We've had technical difficulties with my headset and a very boring game. So we've talked about a lot of real life 1971 situations. There's Shaw going to run for it again across the 40. Takes a hit. Holds on to the ball. That's the important part. Let some clock run. 2nd and 3 now. Bill's going to have to hurry if they want points. He's going to run for it again. Got nowhere to go. Gets hit. Does fumble the football, but it's picked up by his teammate. Unable to advance it, though. So that brings up 3rd down. And the Bills call their last timeout. No timeouts now. 30 seconds. They need a big chunk here. Fires down the middle and completes. That is a big chunk all the way across to the 36-yard line. Now they got to run to the line with 12, 11, 10. This could be a spike. No, Shaw's going to throw again. He's looking. He's got to look sidelines. He's got to look sidelines. He gets hit and sacked. And that will end it. So the Bills unable to get any points before the half. Shaw takes... Hold on. Harris was going to take that snap. So Shaw, you know what? Harris took that last snap too. Shaw was actually hurt on that play where he scrambled, had nowhere to go, got hit, fumbled the football. He also got hurt. So there you see, even with Shaw's running at the end, the Bills are only at 2 yards of offense on the ground. So the Bills will get the ball to start the second half. Shaw may be injured. It's possible he was just banged up a little bit now that he's at halftime. It looks like Shaw is coming out, so he was able. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. The animation doesn't mean anything because it's Madden. Let's wait till the play happens. Yeah, it looks like Shaw's back out there. So Shaw a little banged up for the last play or two of the first half, but now he's back in there after having a halftime to rest. There's Patrick losing more yards, 3 carries, -6 yards. The Bills, as an entire offense, has negative yards rushing, -1 yard rushing. Play action pass, Shaw going to the air since the ground's not working. No, he is going to go to the ground. 25-30, takes another shot. Now Shaw's got 22 yards rushing, and the Bills as a team have 7. So the non-quarterbacks have combined for -15 yards running the football. Shaw throws that a little too deep, and it's incomplete, and the Bills have to punt again. The Bills' offense is going to need to improve if they're going to make any headway in 72.
Let's go, baby. Ready. 70, Indy. Whip. 5. That's it, baby. We gonna work. Ready.
If you're trying to get any sort of knowledge of how the Bills or Jets might draft, can let you know kind of a recap of what they did in 71. The Bills did draft a lot of offense. It's just not, it usually takes, rookies don't make immediate impact unless, they're very good ones. But in order, the Bills went out and got wide receiver J.D. Hill, tight end Jan White. Both of those had good first games. Jan White had an exceptional first game and then kind of really slowed down after that first game where he came out with a boom. Bruce Jarvis, the center. Jim Braxton, a running back. That was their first 3 rounds. 4 picks in the first 3 rounds, all offense. Round 5, they picked up an offensive tackle and their first defensive player. Then in round 7, they picked up another receiver. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of their first 8 picks were offense for the Bills in 71. So that gives you an idea where the Bills' mindset was, at least for the 71 draft. Will it be that way for the 72 draft? That's coming up in a few weeks after the whole playoffs and everything is over. So that will take, definitely a few weeks for you to get through. As far as the Jets go, 7 and 8, again, not too bad. Part of you can just say if Namath will just stay healthy, that's worth anyone that we can draft. But before they knew they were going to have Namath problems, how did they draft in 71? To give you an idea. In 71, of course, their first pick was John Riggins, and he has definitely played well in the second half of the season. With offensive tackle John Mooring in the second round. Then they started filling out some defense. 4 straight defensive picks. A couple defensive backs, a linebacker, and a tackle. Scott Palmer, Phil Wise, Willie Zapolik, and Chris Vasapoulos. All guys that hoping to make an impact, more of an impact in 72. Maybe their defense will improve with all those picks. So the Bills went heavy offense. The Jets' first couple picks were offense, but then they went heavy defense. We'll see if those theories continue next year in the 72 draft. Hopefully you'll be able to join us live for that. See how these teams and the rest of the league drafts to try to improve their sack to the future rosters. Shaw fires over the middle. Incomplete, though. And the Bills have to punt again. So we're excited to get to the playoffs. And I did want to bring that Bengals-Browns games to you guys. So I think the way we're going to play this is that Giants-Eagles game coming up. Again, the only thing it's for is last place. The loser of that game gets last place. The Eagles' big highlight was way back, half a season ago when they were the only team so far to beat the Cowboys. That was their highlight for the season. Not really anything we need to talk about Giants-Eagles wise. I mean, it's a rivalry game, but I think just to get to the playoffs and to make sure I have time to broadcast the Browns-Bengals game, I think we're going to go ahead and after this game, we're going to go ahead and do the Eagles and Giants, but just kind of let the computer announce that there's a blocked punt, and that's how the Bills get on the board. A special teams touchdown for the Buffalo Bills. Their offense isn't doing anything, so the special teams takes it into their own hands. A blocked punt returned for the touchdown. Boom, what a block. Picked up and scored, and that's how the Bills get their touchdown and take the lead here, 9-7, about to be 10-7. So apologies in advance for those Giants and or Eagles fans that may have wanted to comment during that game, but basically the Giants and Eagles playing for last place in sack to the future. Neither one of them made the playoffs in real life, 71. We know the two teams in that division that were relevant in real life were the Cowboys and Redskins. Same ones that are relevant here in sack to the future. So the East playing out almost exactly as it was supposed to. So we'll go ahead and let the Brandon Gaudin and whatever the other announcers, I can't remember, but the two announcers from the Madden game will go ahead and handle that one for me. Might check in near the end, but I'll go ahead and let that play while I'm doing the getting dinner and stuff ready, and then we'll be another game closer. And then over the next few days, get the Bears, Redskins, and that Browns-Bengals game to you guys, and then we can get on to playoff football. Jets punt again. This time it's not blocked. This game. But they will go to the air because the ground game is just not working. And the strike from Shaw to Briscoe right on the money. A big game of 27 yards. There's a quick handoff to Braxton, the rookie. First touch of the game, gets 2 yards. So we've seen Braxton get a little bit of playing time, the tight end. Had a good first game, a decent rookie season. So some of those offensive guys that they drafted made contributions here and there. Shaw played way better than expected. The one downside, I guess, was O.J. Simpson kept getting hurt. So if the Bills can figure out how to keep O.J. Simpson healthy, and all these rookies that they drafted here in 71 will continue to grow, maybe they can be a more competitive team in 72. Shaw finds Jones for another first down. The Patriots lost to the Dolphins, so the Patriots finished 7-9. So if the Bills do win this game, then that means the Jets and Patriots will both have finished just 1.5 game above the Bills. So at least, the Dolphins are the clear class of the division right now. But if the Bills can win this game, then it will pretty much put the other 3 teams about even. And so it's the Dolphins and everybody else. If the Jets win, they get up to 500. And they'll feel like, had Namath stayed healthy, they would have been a playoff team. That's at least how they'll feel. I'm not saying that's true. But the Jets win will help solidify that in their minds that they're the second best team in the division and a playoff team if they can keep their quarterback healthy. The Bills did challenge that. He almost got both feet down, but just could not quite get the second foot down. Nice effort, but incomplete. Now Shaw's going to turn and flip it to, I believe that's Patrick, who makes a move right at the first down marker, and I believe that move got him the first down. It did. Nice move. Patrick's best run of the game gets a first down. And now this might be the last play of the third quarter. Shaw under center. He will turn and pitch it to Jones, who gets destroyed in the backfield. 2 carries, 4 yards for Jones now. And that will do it for the third quarter. So there's one more quarter left in the season for the Buffalo Bills and New York Jets. And they're in a tight one here, 10-7. Low scoring affair. The touchdown from the Bills came on a special teams blocked punt. So 7 of the 17 points scored were flukish, if you will. Very low scoring defensive game. Shaw, quick handoff to Braxton. On third down, that's just kind of a give-up play to make sure they don't lose the field goal opportunity. Laypolt from 32 yards is good, so the coach played for 3 and got 3. Buffalo leads now 13-7 here in the fourth. Again, I know I haven't said this for a while, but I did see some comments pop up on one of the games from last week, I believe, about the roster set. So this roster, for the most part, is straight from the vault, or whatever you want to call it, the EA share. So Madden 20, again, if you just search 1971, I don't remember if the title of the roster is simply 1971 or if it's 1971 NFL. But either way, if you do the search function and you search 1971, it will come up. And it is a fantastic roster, letting you know what have I done to the roster differently. Not much. So all the players, the way they look and their dress and their pad level and things like that, 99.9% of it was just download and go. There may have been a couple people I noticed with just and again, this roster has thousands of players in it, so out of thousands of players there may be a couple that had like modern shoes or something. Not many though, so most of them are all historic shoes and everything. Very good roster set. The only thing that I have done differently is change some of the ratings, and that again is just because I have a rating scale that's unique to my roster sets. And honestly, it's probably the least amount of work for the roster set. So naming all the players and dressing them and making them look right like they did, like their historical selves, is probably at least 2/3. I would say even more, probably about 80% of the work. That's the work that just exhausts you. So I would definitely recommend this roster to anyone interested. 1971. If you just download it and play, you'll have a fantastic time. If you don't know Madden ratings, it's still rated very well, so you'll still get very good gameplay. Because it's Madden 20 or Madden anything lately, of course it's a pass-heavy league and things like that. So the quarterbacks, you'll see the quarterback overall rating is lower than you expect when you download the roster set. And then if you were to try to rate them how I rate them, you would take that and even rate them lower than that. So the roster creator has already lowered the ratings to try to get them more like they were in the 70s. I further took down their ratings just because my rating system is even more harsh for quarterbacks. And that's why you see a lot of these guys, like Namath has 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I think Shaw might be 10-9, but you see Johnny Unitas, I think, was somewhere around 7 touchdowns, but 20 interceptions. So it's just a severe rating system that I used to try to get the stats to more represent 71. You can't do it perfectly, of course, because they're still going to throw more than they run, and just in general, the offense is better in a Madden game. You can't tell it from this game; it's only 13-7, but offense, Madden, of course, is still geared for offense because that's how the league has been for the last 2 decades. So Madden not going to go back to making a super defensive game anytime soon, I don't believe. But again, it's just search 1971. It's most likely. So first of all, there's a lot of good rosters out there. Some 60s rosters, definitely a bunch of 70s and 80s rosters. From many good roster makers. I don't remember if, I think this one might be from I Teach History. His rosters are always fantastic. But there's also Soundwave has some roster sets out there. And there's a couple other. I'm blanking on the names. I think one has Big Chimney or something like that. And then there's Bubba has some, I believe, a roster set and some draft classes. Either way, if you just search for it, you can find many historical rosters. And this 1971 one is one of the best ones, although a lot of them are very good. I did not change the ratings and things and put it back on the vault. I downloaded the roster and basically started the franchise first, and then before their first game, just so I could do like 2 teams at a time and let them play their week 1 matchup. So I kind of did the roster rating differences in franchise mode. There's a fumble forced. Patrick gets the ball ripped out, and the Jets recover. So the Jets give themselves a chance to take this game late in the 4th. I was going to say, unfortunately, I can't share the changes that I did make to the ratings because that was done in franchise. But again, you can still have a very good season played by just simply downloading the rosters and going with it. As we get further along, it's going to change more and more because even though you might find a 1972 roster set out there, if I were to download that roster and then put it in a season play, they would have to play the same schedules and everything. So rather than that, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to go ahead and do the draft. We're going to get a draft class of the 72 players and do the real the Sack to the Future version of the real 1972 draft here on YouTube. And then in the 72 season, that'll be all franchise. Won't be able to share that or anything. But again, it all started with the 71 roster set. And then a little bit of changes to ratings. Then we'll add the 72 draftees and so on, as long as we can go with this thing. I don't know how far that will be, but we have some exciting stuff for 72, so I'm sure 72 will still happen. Things I don't know how long Madden 20 will work. I guess at some point it might stop working. I was unable to download Madden 20. I do have it on disc still, so again, if that disc ever breaks or anything, then we'll be done. The other thing is if newer Maddens ever just get really good for some reason, not expecting it, but if they ever got really good and I had to play the PlayStation 5 version, that might be another reason to switch. But for now, it seems like it's going to be Madden 20, and it seems like it's going to be at least 72 season and hopefully beyond. The good things that we have for 72 and even beyond is there are draft classes out there that I've already looked over and see that they are accurate. And again, it doesn't take too long to change the ratings to fit my system or anything, so we'll have the 72 draft, the 73, 74, and 75 are all ready to go, so we definitely have some years we can do with this thing. The other things that are good news are we've already switched some teams. So the Chargers, if you've seen them broadcast at all, it still says LA Chargers. But next year, even in-game, it will say San Diego Chargers as I move them to San Diego starting next year, which will be the 72 season. You'll have the Cardinals will be in St. Louis Cardinals. You'll have the Oilers, even though the Oilers uniforms are in here already as the Titans. They are still called, their abbreviation is TEN at the top, and it still says, if you let the announcers call the game, they still say Tennessee Titans and all that. So they'll actually be Houston Oilers. So those are all exciting things. And then even some of the semi-pro teams, I just move them just so they don't confuse anyone. We'll talk about that more next year, but there's some exciting stuff for 72 that is better than just taking the new Madden game and making a 72 roster or anything like that. So 72 is still going to happen and still be on Madden 20. And then we'll see where we go from there. But before any of that, we have to finish this game, finish this week, and then get on to what everyone wants to talk about. Just Sack to the Future playoff football. Can the Cowboys be the first real-life team that also wins in Sack to the Future? Or will they be like many other number one seeds that don't win it? Cowboys do have a Sack to the Future Super Bowl. In fact, our very first season. I guess it's a good time to mention, if you have only seen Sack to the Future 1971, there are Sack to the Future 1960, 61, 62, etc. You can find those playlists actually on the Vinny X Wolf channel. The playlists are not on my channel. You could see some games because at that time it was they weren't just exclusively on this channel. Sack to the Future was on 4 different channels, which is the Tears 89 channel, the Vinny X Wolf channel, and the John M channel. Again, if you go to my channel and you look at channels, you'll see them all there. But if you want the playlist, they're just in the Vinny X Wolf channel. You can find Sack to the Future, how we started as a four-man campaign where we did control multiple teams for some of those seasons, but the main ones, of course, and the reason we have the 4 selected here in Sack to the Future 71, it wasn't just out of nowhere. The Bears are my favorite team. John M's favorite team was the Giants. Vinny X Wolf's favorite team was these Buffalo Bills. And Tears 89's favorite team was the Dallas Cowboys. So that's why those are the 4. So you can see those games in 1960, our very first season. Tears 89 did win it all with the Cowboys. So the Cowboys do have a Sack to the Future Bowl. The other teams, the Bills, Giants, and Bears, the Bears do have 2 of them actually. The Bills and Giants have never won in Sack to the Future, and none of the Bills, Giants, or Bears will be in the playoffs in this year. So no chance of getting one here in 71 either. But the Cowboys do have a chance to get their second. And again, be the first real-life team that wins the Sack to the Future Bowl. As the 71 Cowboys, of course, who are real-life Super Bowl champions. 12 seconds to go, though. 4th and inches, Namath for the win. So a game of two teams that aren't going anywhere. Actually, even though it was boring for the most part, it actually did come down to one play. The Jets unable to come through, though. Now they're just calling timeouts randomly. But the Bills are going to end the season on an upward momentum, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say. The Bills will win their last game of the season, though, unless they fumble. That's a face mask. So that will actually let the game not end, I guess, because it's defensive penalty. If they decline it, though, I think they can end the penalty. Yep, let's just get out of here. Bills get the win. So the Jets do not finish 500. Jets and Patriots both finish 7-9. The Bills finish 6-9-1, which again much better than their real life 1-13 record, but still last place. Dolphins the only team in this division able to win more than they lose, therefore they win the division. The other teams need to look forward to next year, but there you go. A pretty competitive game between these rivals. Bills get the win here in snowy Buffalo. Finish with, you always want to finish the season with a win. That's what the Bills did, 6-9-1. So that we say goodbye to the Buffalo Bills. And coming up on the channel, we will see the Giants' final game against the Eagles. But I will not, the computer will be announcing it for most of the time. We'll see if I come in late. But we'll go ahead and get that out of the way now, just so we can get to the playoffs quicker. Thank you for watching. Playoffs, let's see. We still have, after the Giants-Eagles, we still have the Bears game, the Cowboys game, and then I want to do that Browns-Bengals game. So we're probably still a week or so away from actual playoff games, but keep, tag that bell so you know when it's happening, and keep checking back so you don't miss the playoffs, because it's been a long season. You don't want to watch the whole season and miss the playoff games. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.